You've been married to actress Randi Oakes for 45 years. You met on the set of...
Are you going to finish that sentence?
I know this. Oh, Battle of the Network Stars.
There you go. There you go.
Hey,
Battle of the Network Stars. Now, talk about a flimsy way for a 45-year marriage to begin. She was in spandex, and the water was cold, and that was all it took. It was lust at first sight, and somehow a year later, that lusty first meet had turned into the deepest friendship of my life, and we've been married for 45 years.
Is there a secret?
Well, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I've been gone at least half the time in our marriage, so maybe that's true. She does not complete me. I do not complete her. She is completely fine on her own, self-sufficient, and doesn't need me to complete her. I compliment her. She compliments me. So there's not that pressure and constant need for reassurance and revalidation of our relationship and all that. So that may be part of it. I think those are all healthy traits, but I don't know if that's the key. Partly it's that I grew up in a home that my parents got divorced when I was 11, and they should have gotten divorced probably before I was born. and I decided I won't ever make those mistakes again. So I waited a long time to get married, sowed my oats. So did Randi. We were both sluts in the 70s.
It was the thing to do. Everybody was doing
Everybody
it.
was a slut in the 70s. Penicillin cured everything. So that was healthy. I think that we had figured out what we didn't want prior to that, and we were both ready at that moment. She was 30, I was 31 when we met. We were ready to find that person that that would work for us. It wasn't all about passion all the time. It wasn't, if you weren't loving, you were fighting. That had those relationships. I needed a friend. I needed somebody that I could be passionate with, but who I liked, and who I trusted, and who I could rely on. And then you say actress Randi Oakes. She quit acting in 1985. So she's not, to me and to the world, she's not an actress. She was for a few years. She was a very successful model for a few years, and then she came to Hollywood. She was so beautiful and perky. The camera loved her, and she became one of the Universal players for a year or two. Did a few episodes of different shows, and then got cast in. Actually, she played a car thief on Chips one week. They looked at her dealing with Eric and Larry, and the next week offered her a different role in the show as a cop, because she's the only girl who had come onto the set that could handle Eric and Larry, and they needed handling, and she was no nonsense and didn't take any of their intimidating stuff. And they were big stars, and they knew it, and they were doing the same thing I was doing. They were, snorting Coke, or whatever, drinking as much as anybody could and still remember their lines. We were all doing that in the late 70s. And so they hired her to be a regular on the show, and she spent years doing that. And we met because of that, because Chips was NBC and I was on CBS, and a year later we were married, and then she worked a little bit as an actress after that, but when we had our first kid in 1985, she went, "Oh, this is what fulfillment feels like. I've never felt this." And she didn't care about acting. She never studied much. She barely knew how to do it, had no appreciation for the nuances of acting, and didn't much like actors. I don't know what that says about me, but
it's that charm.
Yeah. But she said, "I'll make you a deal. we were married by then, and she goes, okay, we had our first kid finally, and she goes, this is what fulfillment feels like. Okay, here's the deal. I will raise our kids, and because I love that, and you can continue to do what you love, but I will make sure that you're present even when you're not here. That the kids will never think that you're absent. They will never feel like deprived because of your absence. And I will represent for you, and I will, so you can go off and do what you love, guilt-free, and I'll make sure you're participating. And she said, is that a good deal? And I said, yeah. And we literally shook on it. And we have 4 children. None of them felt deprived. None of them, looking back, they all, I guess because I grew up with a father who often went off on sea voyage. He was a boat captain. You know, I didn't think he didn't love me because he was gone. He was doing what he loved, you know? And I admired that. And that's what my kids grew up feeling.